So I would argue the point is, you know what? It's not always bad to say things, because once you put it out into the world, then you can play with it.
Right.
Then we can take it and we can do things with it, and it can change what happens. It can change what our interactions become. Whereas if it's not out in the world, no one can do anything with it.
That's fair. No, I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Hello, adventurer, and welcome to another PG-DND after show, where we talk about stuff that we just did.
Oh, that's not a cut.
As always, we are Safe for Work, non-explicit Dungeons & Dragons channel, and we have a special treat for you today as we will be sharing our thoughts about our Heroes of Theros Season 2 beginning episodes. As a reminder, there will be spoilers in this after show, so if you haven't seen the first 5 episodes of Heroes of Theros Season 2, then please go give them a watch on our YouTube channel or listen anywhere podcasts can be found.
Or if you haven't seen Season 1.
Exactly.
Still spoilers. Yeah, definitely watch Season 1.
Season 1. Don't be here. Go to Season 1 first.
Get out.
We will spoil everything.
We will literally spoil the end of Season 1. But before we dive into our discussion, we'll have a quick recap read by Connor.
Yay! Okay. Our heroes, Thalassa, Alondros, Calen, and Vasilis, found themselves in the crypts of the fortress city Akros. With the city under siege, and still reeling from the death of their friend Adelphos, spoilers, at the hands of his own brother Theseus, they began their descent into the underworld. After some time traveling, the group came across a small crypt filled with tombs of various heroes. They discovered a tomb belonging to Adelphos that lay empty. In the empty crypt, they were attacked by several returned who have escaped the underworld. After defeating the returned, our heroes made it to a shrine of Phaenax, god of deception. Recognizing his former follower, Phaenax began to talk with the party. The group eventually made a deal with the god, exchanging directions to the underworld for finding his missing identity, which lay somewhere in the palace of Erebos. After the exchange, our heroes began their trek on the path of Phaenax, which quickly revealed itself to be a deadly maze. Navigating Phaenax's sinister traps, our heroes encounter animated armor, trapped treasure chests, and dead ends. In their journey, they also came across several godly artifacts, with some giving powerful help, while others bringing harm. Finally, they found the end, and after being pressured by the impatient deceiver, were forced to leave the path. The party then emerged on the banks of the Tartix River, the only entrance into the underworld. Gathering their wits, our heroes made their way closer to the river and observed several individuals talking with Athreos, the god of passage. Calen and Thalassa stealthily observed the god receive payment before guiding the deceased across. Meanwhile, Alondros noticed a familiar face, Queen Apollonia. In an attempt to follow her to get more information, he was discovered by Athreos and confronted death itself. Alondros reluctantly agreed to offer his own soul in exchange for his friends, safe ferrying across the river. After telling his companions of his choice, his group refused and hatched a plan for them to all sneak across. They decided to sneak on a ship without the god noticing, and was ultimately successful, apart from Vasilis nearly falling into the Tartix River. After reaching their destination, our group realized they had been taken to Agonis, where the honorless go to fight forever, that much closer to their lost companion, Adelphos. Went to the worst possible place we could have.
Agonas. It's like
Agonas.
agony. Yeah, it's like agony.
Connor, you need to do one of those sleep meditation things.
Yeah.
Where you just sit and you just
Are
talk.
you falling asleep?
Because man, I was just lost in your voice.
Yeah, Connor was putting me asleep.
I put on that radio voice.
Yeah, you have a voice.
Turned it
you
on.
have a voice for radio. I mean, a voice for radio.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jefferson. That's the nicest backhanded compliment someone's ever given me.
It's okay. That's why we have a podcast, Connor. If Counterspace offends you
now.
and you want to listen to us, just go listen to our
listen to the
our
audio version.
Spotify. Yeah.
And just
Or
like
just,
put
like-
that last like 30 seconds like on repeat, and man, you'll be asleep before you know it.
Put a
like-
piece of tape over your monitor.
Oh man. Oh, all right.
What a stupid
wanna-
plan when you read it back. Sorry, I just had to say that.
Time for you guys to sneak across.
that's the first time we've
Plan
ever had a
wasn't
stupid plan.
It's called the not looking hard enough before we did the plan was what was the stupid part.
True.
We'll get to that later, unless we want to start there and work our way backwards.
No, let's do it
But
how it's written.
I thought we would first get everybody except for Zane's, and then we'll get Zane's last. Everybody's thoughts on Vasilis. We have a new face in the group, fresh blood.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on Vasilis, everybody?
I think he kind of puts on a show of having it all together. I think that we're going to get hit with some hard trauma from him. I mean, he's had a rough go. He's way too optimistic right now. Like, his sister is dead, his city's falling apart, but he's been pretty chipper about the whole thing.
Better than being a slave.
True.
So
Go ahead.
are you saying that he's like putting up a front for like what? Like, do you think he's
I think he's putting up a front for just putting on a brave face, kind of faking it till he makes it. Personally. And I think Calen wants to trust him, but considering everything that's happened in the party, Theseus, he's having a hard time trusting that same type of like warrior, even though Vasilis and Theseus are very different.
that makes sense?
What about Adelphos? Adelphos was a warrior.
Yeah, but Adelphos was so sweet.
He
Adelphos was an
slave,
open
okay?
book, dude. Literally every time we met anybody, he's like, "Yeah, I used to be a slave."
I was a slave.
I can't read.
He was such
Hey,
an
you
open
can
book.
now.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I think to explain my thoughts, I want to do yet again another shout out to Preston, who we had on our show during Curse of Strahd. He summed some things up that I want to talk about in one of his comments. So I'm just going to go ahead and read. This is just part of his comment, and then I want to talk about some stuff.
Do it.
So he says that Vasilis says he's an open book, but he feels guarded. It could be two things. He is in a new party learning about the individuals and trying to read the room. And then number two, I think he is going to try and get Sophia back from the dead because she died in a very unfair way. Once the party learns how to get Adelphos back, they might want to keep an eye on Vasilis and see what he does. And I think that that is a phenomenal theory. And I think we need to keep an eye on Vasilis because I think that he probably has some ulterior motives.
Is that I'm not saying whether that is his motive or not, but I have to pose the question: is that a bad motive?
No, but if he's not telling the party, why is he not telling the party?
If he's an open book.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's the whole thing, you know.
Because I'm the person that
It's-
plays him, man, and I don't throw everything out there.
I know, but that's
Because
the thing is,
That's boring.
Zane made a pact with a D&D god that he would never reveal his backstory ever.
Exactly.
I know. And so if you want us to trust you, you can't hide anything because otherwise
It's not that
there's so much that we are not going to trust, even if it's good intentions, you know? Like, so I don't know.
Can I finish what you were going to say, Zane?
you can try again.
It's not that I'm trying to hide it from you. I just haven't told you and you haven't asked.
Very, very good. Very good. See, look. I mean, when it comes, what am I supposed to do? Like that would be so boring.
Not
if
be
I came
Theseus?
in as Vasilis and I was like, oh, hey guys, like, I'm here to help you guys out, and I'm here to do this, and I'm also here to do this because of that, and then like this is my life story, and yeah, this is why I do the things that I do, and like here's my traumas, you know, my trigger points, all of these things and such. Like, I just feel like it's a really boring way to go about things, and then also people haven't asked me, you know, like
you don't have to throw
Yeah,
all of your traumas out right out of the gate, but I mean,
I know.
Look at Adelphos. He was very open book, and he is a great character. You know.
Yeah, but Adelphos told you everything about him, like from day one. Like we literally just made fun of a little, picked at him a bit of it. You know what I mean? Like we knew everything about him from out of the gate. Like, and everything that we found out about Adelphos was stuff that Adelphos didn't know about himself.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's true.
Well, here's something that I'm going to push and argue. Here's my counterpoint.
Yeah.
Arguably, and this is unbiased to prove a point by I'm saying this, but Zeno is one of the most interesting characters in any of our parties.
Oh yeah, very interesting.
He, out of the gate, told you everything. He is always honest. If you asked him something, he would say it. If you didn't ask him something, he still says it. But he is very, very interesting. And so I would argue the point is, you know what? It's not always bad to say things, because once you put it out into the world, then you can play with it.
Right.
You know, then we can take it and we can do things with it, and it can change what happens. It can change what our interactions become. Whereas if it's not out in the world, no one can do anything with it.
That's fair.
You know?
No, I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
I guess
So
the men of that gross are just naturally.
shelter, which actually kind of makes sense, being
checks
from like
out.
a
No shoulder.
militaristic.
Naturally closed off, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let before I answer anything and I get to what I want to say, I'm gonna let anybody else say the stuff that they have to say.
For me, it was just, I think right now I kind of like, I trust him, I just don't know him. Like, I trust him because he hasn't really given me a reason to not trust him. But it's also trying to get to know him, and then, you know, seeing how I feel after I know him more.
Yeah, and I do think that Alondros did have a hard time trusting him at first, but you said some things, and literally, so like I had planned to not trust you. I even talked to you guys about it, and I was like, Alondros is in a rough place, and he's gonna have a hard time bringing someone else in and trusting them. But you said, when we were talking about it, and I basically came at you, and you said some things that literally, in my head, I was like, all right. I no longer feel like Alondros needs to not trust you.
Like what?
And
What was it?
I'm trying to remember exactly what you said, but
Do
Jeff,
you remember what episode it was?
it was the first episode. We were walking down the stairs and we were talking, and then we were sitting there and we were talking about it, and you basically like came forward and you said what you said, your little piece. It was like, I know you guys shouldn't trust me, but I'm here. I'm gonna give everything. And then I asked you.
He said, he said,
Like-
you guys shouldn't trust what I say, but like hopefully I'll show you through this adventure that you can trust me.
Yeah, and I said, would you choose your duty over us or whatever? And you gave a very honest answer. And then I literally had the thought, I should give him the ring. And that's when I gave you that ring, even though I was totally planning on like not giving it to you for a while.
Yeah.
So I think that Alondro started out in like a bad place with Basilisk, but then has turned to trust you more, you know?
Mhm.
So I think that it's in the right trajectory, but maybe there are a few things, like, I don't know, we just need to get to know you more. I think Shay said it well.
Yeah. I will say, not that the only reason that I really haven't let it out of the gate, because I really truly think that Vasilis is the kind of person, like, he's not trying to lie to anyone. And he like wants to tell you guys. There's actually so much that I want to tell you. I want to tell you guys everything. I would love to just dump it all out. But Vasilis knows. Well, here's the thing. Here's the caveat. Just like you just said, everyone has gone through. The whole party has just gone through this really traumatic event where they have been betrayed by someone in the party, and Vasilis knows that person and has a very similar background. Like, basically, what I'm trying to say, and Preston hit it right on the nose. So make sure you guys are putting your theories and stuff in the comments, because Preston had it right. Yeah, he's reading the room, and he's making sure that he doesn't throw this stuff out there before it makes you guys trust him less. Does that make sense? Because if he throws some stuff out there and you guys trust him less before of it, just because of where everyone is in the party, it's just not. I just don't feel like it would be super helpful.
That makes sense.
How calculated, I like it.
You know, but also
Oh, right.
like
Now that
it's
doesn't
really
make me
hard
feel great.
because
That's
Zane, yeah, Zane, you have played two characters that have done very similar things in different ways.
Right.
Behind the party, and so it's kind of tricky to be like, all right, what's this character gonna do? You know?
Yeah, I get it. It's
stab.
Yeah, like how is this character going to like?
How's this character gonna wrench my heart out of my chest?
Yes.
Punch it into the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it, and that's another reason that I haven't just thrown it all out, because it's also, I know that it's hard for you guys to trust me a little bit, so
As a player.
as a player, yeah. But I know that it's hopefully in the best way, kind of like a, I don't know how Zane's gonna knock my socks off kind of way, but yeah. No, I don't think you won't have to wait wait very long. I think as long as the party continues to try to get to know Vasilis, it'll come out pretty quick.
Right.
But is Vasilis gonna try to get to know the party?
Yeah.
Two-way street.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a little hard for me to ask. Like, here's the thing. I personally, Zane, it's hard for me to ask you guys like questions about your characters, because I already know it, and I don't want to have to like re-go over things, and like
Sorry.
the people are like that are listening. They're like, yeah, we already know this stuff. So.
Well, and I
You
feel
know what I
like
mean?
Yeah.
But they're different people now. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know, and I'm trying to find the right questions, I think. Like, I can't just ask
Yeah.
anything. I'd be like, hey, Calen, what's your background? Like, everyone knows Calen's background. Like,
Well,
we've been
but
over Calen's back.
right,
also
but
feel
you don't,
like-
and that's still like robbing the podcast of valuable role play, right?
True, I agree, and I will throw it in where it's pertinent.
Even if Calen was like, well, like I did this and this and this and this, and like,
Well,
yeah,
and
we went down to Olantis, and like, oh, remember when Adelphos did this? As part of the, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
Yeah.
I really missed
Yeah.
that. Or like,
And it's like,
I never would have guessed at that point that Theseus was evil. Like, but like, obviously now,
Well,
like,
and maybe when we're reenacting those things, maybe Vasilis can relate to some of those things, and we have no idea that he can relate to them because we don't know Vasilis. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I agree.
But also, I don't
'Cause,
think
like-
there's been very much time for us to even talk because we were in a maze, and now we're
I agree,
like
yeah.
in the underworld, and like, you know what I mean?
I think moving forward, I think we'll have a lot more time for like role play and stuff like that. Now that we're not in a dangerous maze.
maybe not in Agonas, literally the place where people fight for eternity.
We shall see.
Yeah, I guess we'll
yeah,
see.
there's probably not going to be any combat.
Nope, none at all.
No.
Yeah.
Zero, zilch, nil, none.
You know, my only thing is like, how are we gonna jump from there to another place? Like, do we have to go back to the boats,
I don't think so.
You'll find out.
or is there
No
gonna be
way.
some sort of bridge? Like, because if we have to go back to the boats, like, oh man.
We gotta bamboozle the god of death
Yeah.
again.
Again.
The boats are like the only way to get across, to get into the underworld. But it's all
Once we're
connected.
across,
Yeah.
hopefully we can move like
It is.
Yeah.
across the way.
The river Tardix is like the border, and like we've crossed the border,
Yeah,
And
you
now-
are now officially in the underworld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're just surrounded by a bunch of unhonorable people that.
That fight all the time.
Yeah, it's fine.
You
Oh,
might
I would
meet
like-
some people you've seen.
Yeah. Who do you guys think that we're gonna like meet? I don't know if
Let's
this
talk
one.
about this later. We'll do that later. We'll do that later. All right. So continue on through your journey. Is that it? Does anyone else want to make any other comments for Vasilis?
Yeah, he sucks. I hate that guy.
You descended down the stairs and you came across a mysterious crypt for heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Question mark. No.
I was like, where's the question? So you did this.
What? Yeah.
Talk.
So you did this? Question mark.
Truth.
Deliberate.
What are? I just don't want to say what are your thoughts on everything, but I guess yeah. What are your thoughts on it? Initial impressions. I was really excited to include that area in this journey. I want to hear your.
All I gotta say is, if we don't meet every single one of those people on those crypts, then I wrote down all of their names and gods and backstories for nothing. So Jefferson.
Well, you said that to me because I didn't write down their names.
You did.
We said that.
Yeah,
to
I
be-
got it all.
Just upload it to the drive. It'd be like, note to self, bring those people back.
Bring them back.
Reanimate.
They most of the tombs that we opened had a body in them.
No, none of them
No,
did.
none of them did.
I thought there was one
No,
that did.
No, that was in the. He's talking about
When we
the
very first
first
went down
level.
this
Oh.
It's like when we first, and it was like
the first
where
one, we found a
Delphos.
Delphos's tomb.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And like the satyr hero and the minotaur and these different like heroes of
but
these different
they
gods
weren't
and
all
stuff.
from Akros. Necessarily.
No,
No.
they were not.
Hmm. I'm curious what someone has to do to be able to have a tomb created for them. Who creates the tombs
They were heroes.
and why they're all empty? Yeah, but
Well,
there's been a
'cause-
lot of heroes.
He said that they were heroes that died without the chance to have official like burial rites.
Hmm.
So, like a Delphos, he fell, but he was a hero, but he like fell. We weren't able to like
Get his
have
body
his
and have
funeral
him-
rites and like burn
the
his
coins
body
on his
and put the
eyes,
coins
yeah.
on his eye and do all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And so he got a tomb there, but it was empty because it's like symbolic that like he
Gotcha.
didn't get one in life, he doesn't get one in death, but he gets a memorial kind of a thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I was getting
No,
from
that's
it all.
that is spot on.
Okay.
But the question is, who made it?
I don't know. Who would have pull up the list of gods?
They were all different gods.
Yeah,
Um,
but one of the gods has got to be creating it, because there's no way that it got created any other way that fast for Adelphos.
Yeah. Oh, like the list, not the gods of the people, but just like the generic list of the
Yeah,
gods.
One of them's got to be making
A
a
god of masonry.
god of
is there a
tomb
god
making
of-
for.
I mean, Farah is kind of the god of that, but I mean,
Orpheus is the god of like smithing
Making.
and yeah, and
Yeah, that's
making
what I was
stuff,
originally
crafting.
thinking.
but what's his name? Erebos. He's like the god of like funerals and stuff.
Ooh.
So like he could be the one that's making them, because he, I guess, deals with all of like the funeral rites and stuff. But
We could
I
go,
don't know if he would
We'll make sure to bring
What?
that up when we go meet with him in
be like, "Who's that you
Dap
that made
him
those
up.
in
tombs?"
talking about how to get Phaenix's identity. I'm
Yep.
sure that'll go real well.
Yeah, that'll go
Great
real well.
And
It always
I
I wonder if there's
Okay.
anything that we could do
Next.
I mean,
to try and help the other heroes, and what the outcome would be if we did.
I kind of could it be Heliod, who's like the god of like honor and kind of heroes, or like Iroas, who would be kind of the god of heroic people,
Yeah.
or it's Clothis, just because.
Ooh. Writing that one down. Clothis.
Actually, it's Mogus is doing it. He
Mhm.
actually is
right.
a softie.
Yeah.
No, he's doing it as a joke, as like a ha, you didn't get a grave.
Yeah.
He does
Empty
crafts
tomb.
in his spare time. Just crafts graves.
Speaking of gods, next after you guys had defeated the Returned, you met with, not face to face per se, but you met with another god of Theros, Phaenax.
Mm-hmm.
What is everybody's thoughts on Phaenax?
I don't like him.
Yeah, I don't like him either.
He's a slippery guy.
I was definitely Calen was trying to put on a air of like, I don't care about you, I don't need you.
Oh yeah,
But
you were
in
definitely.
reality, he was like sweating bricks. I was super nervous and uncomfortable the whole time.
Did you think something was going to happen to you?
For sure.
I for sure did
For
too.
sure, I thought he was gonna get his vengeance.
Hmm.
But I guess I'm probably not that important in the view of him. He's probably
Or
like,
maybe he'll just enact it later.
potentially.
Maybe he already has enacted it and you don't even know.
Mm.
He is the god of tricks, which is exactly why I kind of was having a hard time trusting anything he said at all.
Yeah.
Everything he said, I felt like was just laced with something else. It was just, I don't know.
And not lying to our faces, but just like
Right.
talking around the truth.
Yeah, and then like like whenever he was like, "Oh, go get my soul." I can't remember what it's called. His essence. Yeah, his essence. He's like, "Go get my essence for me," Boom, bada, bing. You win, I win. And I feel like there's definitely some underlining stuff we don't know about.
For sure.
And what do you think's gonna happen if he gets it back?
Right? Or what happens if we betray him and don't
Probably
get it back?
not good things.
Like-
I
Yeah,
think
like,
either
does-
way, not good things.
Does he become mortal again and just becomes a regular dude? Does he lose his godhood, or does he become like more powerful?
I would
like-
imagine more powerful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's probably the hidden things that we don't really know about. Like, that's why he has a plan to get his essence.
What if he doesn't? Like, I mean, no one's done it before, right?
No,
So,
literally
like,
no, yeah.
He doesn't even
And
know
he's
what
never
would
gone
happen.
back. He's never gone back to the underworld, which
Hmm.
is why he asked you to do it, because he cannot go back.
So if we just stay in the underworld,
Why can't
we
he go
never
back?
have to make good on the deal.
But we just kill ourselves
right.
and stay down there forever.
Mm-hmm.
How
We never
poetic.
have to. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll
But-
get TPK.
So listen to this.
when the next god comes at us,
Yeah.
like when we go past
I-
Erebos and we're like, hey, can you just give us this? He's just gonna kill us all,
Yeah.
and then we don't have to worry about it anymore.
And then the world could go on and end, and then everybody can live happily in the underworld.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about the mechanics of somebody dying in the underworld until now. Because you offering your soul was something completely different. That would be very interesting. And the question is, where would your soul, if you do die, where would your soul go? Would it be where you guys are, or would it be somewhere else that you have
Maybe we
either
just
been
die.
to before, or
And he can shoot us to where we need to
not
go.
been to?
Would it
I
not
think,
just
like
would it
we
not
just-
just go back to the boatman and then like the process just starts from there? with
Right, but
everyone else?
what I'm saying is, like, say you guys make it to, like, Phileas, which is the uninspired area, right?
Mhm.
And you've already passed through Agonas and Tizoris and like all these other places, like, and next up is Palace of Erebus, and then you die in Phileas, but your soul doesn't belong there. Your soul belongs somewhere else.
Mm.
So like, you know what I mean? Then it's like, oh great, we've got Adelphos, we're on our way out, but then we lost somebody, and now they're back where we've been to already, and you don't know where. You just have to assume that people were either good, or maybe not, or maybe whatever,
Ooh, that would really hit hard if we saved Alicia for last, and then like we lost someone. We're like, we'll pick him up on Alicia, right? We still
And they're
they'll be
not
there,
there.
and they're not there. That would hit hard.
Yep.
And then we probably
Well-
get a hero tomb.
Yeah. Here's a thought for you, Jefferson.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swing it by you. What if we die, our soul just comes back into our body and we just don't die?
Yeah, we're just
Wouldn't
immortal.
that be
dude.
like, really cool? Like that would be such a fun
Just something
thing
to
to
think
have, right? Like
Mechanic.
yeah, just a thought for you. We don't actually ever die. Like
Or your body doesn't die, but your soul separates, so your consciousness is somewhere else. And then your
what if
body is just
your
a wandering
body,
husk. just a
yeah, it like
return.
turns into a returned, like just
Yeah.
immediate.
Yeah.
Oh,
have
that would be
revivify it someday.
crazy.
Could another soul possess that husk while we're down there?
Yeah, and could you even be resurrected, like through D&D mechanical means? Your body's not on the material plane, essentially,
Stop
right?
Giving
Like,
him ideas.
Resurrected. So for all intents and purposes, just so you are aware, resurrection magic does not work in the underworld.
That's a bummer. We're
Yeah,
all
just so
good.
you are all aware.
Yeah, we're
Like
all
at all?
And
Are you- did you say
in
healing
the
now?
underworld at all, yeah, because it's a different plane.
but like greater
magic-
restoration and
No, that
stuff like
works.
that
That's
would still
fine.
work.
Yes.
Okay.
But any resurrection spells,
Revivify or
yeah,
whatever.
or yeah, true
Or
resurrection,
true resurrection
or reincarnate, like none of those things would work in the underworld. That's not to say you don't
That's daunting.
escape the underworld and then use it to pull whoever was in the underworld back out of the underworld.
So we just have to carry around their body.
Yeah, pretty
we have a
much.
bag of holding.
They don't need air. You've got gentle repose.
True.
That's
That is-
true.
That is true. I just can't die.
Oh man.
I
you
have
guys think-
healing word. I can just
Just put on his recorder thingy.
heal the body.
Yeah.
yeah. That's true. I've got that ring, or not the ring, the music box.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like who's to say that you can't cast a spell into it?
I should put a revivify in that.
Ah,
Yeah, you should.
Oh snap.
that's not a bad idea.
That's a really good idea.
Do you think Phaenax harbors any resentment towards you, Calen?
Yes. I think he does, but I don't think it's as much as Calen thinks it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think Calen has the idea that he played a bigger part in everything that he was doing, but nice. But I think in reality, he's kind of just like, whatever.
Or what if he like wants you back? He sees it more of like a game of cat and mouse kind of a thing where he's like, okay, you're gone for now, but I'll get you back.
Yeah, it probably is, especially with how I went about
Mm-hmm.
it.
Where you kind of almost like played into that game
Yeah,
with him.
I could see that. And he
He's
is.
like, you know,
the,
I don't want to kill you. Like, I want you back.
What if I didn't even meet Krufix and I've just been worshiping Phaenax the whole time?
Phaenax the whole time.
Then why would your powers glow like they do?
Because he's the god of deceit. Everybody else just sees like black, eerie darkness mixed with gold, and I'm just like, wow, look at the Nick sky.
Hey, yeah, missed
like,
opportunity.
yeah.
That would have been so good.
Yeah.
Phaenax's
totally.
greatest trick is that there are no other gods. It's just him. He just makes you think that
Glaucus
there's
isn't
other
even a
gods.
thing.
That'd be wild.
Wow.
Did you imagine? Yeah, he's just a singular deity.
So, speaking of Phaenax,
Means
do you guys think that there is even a slight chance that we will be able to make a deal with Erebus to kind of entrap Phaenax?
I don't think that we're gonna leave the underworld with all parties happy with it. I don't think you know what I mean? Like, I think it might be possible, but someone's gonna get ticked off at us either way.
Yeah.
And I think as of right now, I'd rather be on Erebus's side
Same.
than Phaenax. So
Same.
True.
You
Jeff
guys-
just smiles.
I know,
no,
right?
I'm thinking about. We could talk about this.
It's like, yes,
later
you
when we get
do.
to the underworld. No, I'm thinking, but like you guys read the books, right? Like you guys read about the gods,
Mhm.
right? I just think it was so funny that like the number one plan to get across the river was like, let's just talk to the god of death. Like he'll just let us across. Like we'll just talk to him. And then, yeah, Vasilis rolled, and he's like, no, he hates mortals. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it checks
I
out.
like the energy. No, I like the energy. You're like, let's just talk to the god of the underworld. Just
Yeah. I think it's because we've only come across, like, good
Imano.
gods.
Yeah, I feel like our party is very diplomatic. I feel like we're all we're always very diplomatic in how we solve problems. Usually, on the off chance, there's some that we solve problems with violence, but
Yeah,
most
so-
of the time,
Sometimes
Most
a
of the
little
time,
too diplomatic.
yeah,
Yeah.
and-
Theseus.
yeah, and then sometimes our diplomatic solutions go bad, and they're like, we'll just default to something else. Then we'll go to violence, I guess. But
Yeah, and I just don't think we've had a lot of experience with these darker gods.
Yeah.
Like, we're just used to gods being like, wow, thank you so much. You guys are so awesome.
Yeah.
yeah,
He's my
Here,
violent.
Here, take a bunch
Yeah.
of artifacts.
Yeah, that's fair. You've only met good or neutral
Yeah.
gods.
true.
Like, even Mojus, none of us ever met or saw.
No.
That was all Theseus.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah,
But-
that's fair.
We probably learned our lesson on this last one with the terrifying encounter that Alondros had.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Mechanically, we'll talk about that too as well. Yeah, mechanically, you guys did beat him as far as hiding from him. Yeah.
He's still there, wondering like, where did those guys go?
He probably
He's
knows,
checking
and
his
he
watch.
probably hates us.
He could probably
Yeah.
smell that we're gone.
And but also,
Yeah.
like, how poetic would it be that, like, at the end of the day, like, 80 years from now or whatever, like, Alondros walks down into the underworld and is like, I'm ready. And he's like, all right.
I've been waiting.
Like, I've been waiting. Yeah,
I've been waiting. I
I've
said,
literally,
I'm coming through on my promise. Like, here I
I've
am.
literally been waiting. That's cool. That's way
Like,
off.
that would be pretty poetic. Like,
And then instead of him ferrying you across, he sucks your soul into his torment
And you
lamp.
become part of his
yeah,
face.
which would be terrible. But
But that's the poetic part about it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
even though I
Yeah.
never did make a deal, I just was like, can I talk to my friends? And he was like, oh yeah, sure.
It's like, can I go say goodbye to them before we totally dupe your butt and
Before
then
we
get out of here?
Get out of here.
The implication was there. But yes, you did not make a deal.
Yeah.
Did not agree to anything, but the implication was there.
Yeah.
Very careful choice of words on your part, Tyson. I have to applaud you for that.
Yeah, you should probably teach Calen a thing or two, because I definitely made a deal with a god.
Yep.
Yep.
You did.
Yeah. I did.
Speaking of half truths and
Mhm.
deception and deal making, Phaenax, in agreement for you getting his essence, led you to the path of Phaenax.
I really just want to know, what were those chests
Yeah, the ones that you guys didn't
that we didn't
open.
interact with? Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, you gotta wait till Connor's back for that because he wants to know too.
Connor's back.
Okay. But that's
the
the
ones-
thing that I've been wondering.
Or the
He'll
one
be
with
back in a
sand
minute.
and coins were those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you guys just walked away from him.
Yeah.
Well,
Everything
we
was
didn't
killing
have
us.
a
and
choice.
So we were
you were
like,
counting down.
yeah.
We're talking about
The
the
first half was more deadly
chests
too than the
that we
second
didn't
half.
open.
Mm.
Okay.
The two
Proceed.
chests. One of them had a bear trap in it,
Nice.
and one of them did not.
That's it.
Yep.
Was that the
Did the one
gold?
with sand?
Huh?
Gold in the sand?
Yep. You'll never know which one had the bear trap and which one didn't.
The gold.
So
had
if
the
we
bear
just stuck
trap.
our sword in there and let it get the bear trap, we could have just taken all that gold.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm.
So the bear trap was actually in the sand chest, and Connor was more curious about what was in the sand chest, thinking that the regular gold chest was trapped, and I was
Uh-huh.
super wanting for him to stick his hand in, but he threw something in there small, like something inconsequential, not enough to set off the trap, and then you guys just walked away. So I was like, all right. The one chest full of gold was just a chest full of gold.
That's so disappointing
was-
because I'm so
it was-
broke.
It was
No.
only there to deceive you more, essentially, to make you wary of the fact that there's treasure down there.
Well, it worked very
It
well.
worked.
Did you
Yes,
throw
it
in there
did.
like a rubble? Didn't you throw a piece of rubble?
I don't remember.
I thought he broke off a piece of his chalk.
Something like that.
I don't remember.
It was something very small.
Yeah, not enough.
And you shot a couple arrows into the chest, I think assuming that it was a mimic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Probably
it was just a
was.
chest full of gold.
Mm-hmm. A likely story.
We go back and
I believe nothing you say.
It's all mimics.
yeah.
When I was
It just
building the dungeon, I was
explodes.
almost like, everything they come across will be a mimic. It's
That
just a
would be-
mimic dungeon.
That would be crazy.
It's just like
Very Thanax-esque, though.
It's like door mimic. It's like cobblestones on a particular piece of ground mimic.
just live mimics running around. So we're just like, they're the ghosts.
A statue of a mimic? Mimic.
Mimic.
Ghosts?
Your
The ghosts,
A
and we're trying to get our
not a
cherry.
mimic, actually.
one chest, not a mimic.
Yeah.
I read that once on like a forum where it's like you want to mess your players up forever, make an entire dungeon that is all mimics. Everything is a mimic. And then give them another dungeon where every single thing is not trapped and treasure. And he's like, watch as they will not take a shred of gold.
Or I've also heard one where it's like a cursed item that you get, where everything that you specifically interact with turns into a mimic.
Oh,
So like, if it was a regular chest,
yeah.
if you interact with it first, it becomes a mimic. But
Oh.
everyone else, it would just be a chest.
Dude,
if they
you would
did
think you
first.
have the worst luck of all time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That would
because
And that's just like,
suck.
that's me. Like, which person do I hate the most? You know, like,
person who I want to build character.
Murder
Yeah.
Bobo.
If you want to make it a little bit more
Yeah.
fair, you can make it like a chance. Like every time you touch something, you have to roll, and like you know if you get like a 15 and above, it's a mimic.
yeah.
Get a 2 to 15 mimic. Roll a
2
1,
to a 15.
roll a 1, you're fine. Roll a 16 to 20, 2 mimics.
Double.
That would be even worse.
Double mimics.
Oh, 5% chance of not having a mimic, where a 20% chance of having two. That sounds terrible.
But if you ever roll the 1 and it's not a mimic, you 100 times whatever treasure you find.
Quadruples.
No, not quadruples, 100 times.
Oh, 100 times?
yeah.
Honestly, if you did XP, this would get you up there pretty quick. I feel like you should be fighting mimics all
Fighting
the
a
time.
bunch of mimics.
Yeah, you should be fighting mimics all the time.
And then the one time you don't, you're filthy stinking rich.
Yeah.
It's a win-win, I
Um,
guess.
It is.
But
Why
then
do you
you're
guys
not-
think there are so many artifacts of other gods on that path?
I think because at some point they had a hand in like putting them there.
Okay.
I think that they kind of like they don't have play on the underworld. And so if there's one place that they're going to do it, it's like, well, I can do it here and that's the closest I can get. Here's my thumbprint.
Mhm.
Boom.
Do you, like to help people?
Yeah, it's
Just to be like,
Why not?
yeah, I'm a god.
it's curious that it's on Phaenax's path and he allows them to still be there, unless he
Oh, yeah.
can't like get rid of them.
That's what I'm trying
Well-
to figure out.
If I'm not mistaken, and I'm not going to check my notes on this, I'm pretty sure every one of the gods that we found, they're all neutral. Because it was Karametra, she's neutral good. Keranos is chaotic neutral. Who else did we find? Clothis, the coin, is neutral, just pure neutral.
The only one, I think
The only one,
goddess of poison or whatever,
Erica.
Therica.
Rufus.
She-
Oh,
she's not. I don't think she's neutral.
neutral evil.
Neutral evil.
Yeah.
Is it? Jeff?
What?
Is she neutral evil? Do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm
Maybe you're
reading
right.
it.
Oh, gosh.
But no,
you got
because
it
that
all
would be
pulled up.
evil. But just neutral evil.
Yeah, still neutral. I can see where you're coming from.
And Karametra is neutral good, so she's actually good. Just
The
Oh,
neutral
not,
side.
yeah, she's not
neutral
lawful or
side of
chaotic.
good.
Yeah,
All right. Well, there goes that theory.
that was a good theory. I did not think that far into that. So
Maybe they want somebody to succeed and get out again.
But also, a lot of their stuff wasn't necessarily good.
Yeah.
You know, like, even like the knife and the hilt and stuff. Like, yeah, they have big bonuses, but they have like huge.
Bane, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, they're not necessarily like, here's this really helpful thing. It's like, here's this thing that could either blow you up or blow your enemies up. It's a
Yep.
50-50.
They're not given freely.
Yeah.
It's a grenade that they're like, there's a 5% chance, there's a 50% chance it goes off immediately, or 50% chance it goes off in 6 seconds.
Yeah. And you just have to
I
pull the
like
pin and
those
figure it
odds.
out.
I'll take those odds.
I do
Other
wonder.
than the coin. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I wonder what's gonna happen if and when we do get back from the underworld.
If there is even a world to come back to.
Because like Phoenix is the only one, or is he the only mortal that's died and escaped?
He was the first mortal.
So
to
maybe
leave
that's the
underworld.
caveat, is that it's like we would be. Sorry.
I was like, other returned, which they're like in Theros. They're like, you guys met a real returned in Theros.
Yeah.
Like, that returned is a mortal that came back from the underworld, right? But they're akin to zombies in the sense that like they don't have
Any essence to them?
like self-aware. I guess they're self-aware, but they don't have like much
They're just hollow.
identity. They're hollow, right? And so like there are individuals that have left the underworld, mortals that have left the underworld. There's not many of them. They're often feared in Theros because they usually keep to themselves in small communities that are like near where people think entrances to the underworld is. But like they're not impossible. I think if Phaenax was just the first one to do it
Gotcha.
and made it possible.
Gotcha.
And so because of that, he was revered, which means he then became a god.
Makes sense. Because you got so much worship.
Yep.
And didn't like Heliod or someone do it to kind of spite
Erebus.
Erebus?
hmm Yep.
Yeah. Where it's kind of like, huh, now he's a god.
Yep. It was because there's, and you would have known, your character would know this, Tyson, is there was a satyr not long ago, like only a couple decades ago. His name was Xanagos, where he was trying to achieve godhood, essentially. He had basically started a cult and was spreading his worship. But the gods struck him down.
It was funny.
Bolt like a horse?
Yeah.
Cult?
Yeah.
C-U-L-T?
Yeah.
Not a C-O-L-T, a C-U-L-T.
I
He's
know.
trying to find the perfect horse. The gods just struck him down.
A cult
They're
of
like, no,
cults.
you'll be too powerful.
You can't have that
Goat
nice horse.
legs, and then horse leg. That's 6 animal legs. That's too many.
That
One
was the
horsepower.
fabric of the universe. Starting a cult. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he is actually trying to start a gun, a cult.
There you go.
That would off-throw the power of the universe.
Yeah.
That's what
Cults wielding
Atlantis was
cults.
trying to do.
A cult of cults wielding cults.
Wait, is that just a cowboy? That's a cowboy club? You know,
Yes.
like
Kind of.
they got cults and they got.
Only you gotta be a
horses
cult.
and-
And maybe you like the cults. You don't know.
It's too many
That's
cults.
cults
man.
that worship the cults.
Wow.
While
that
wielding
run
a cult.
while carrying cults.
Yeah.
Interesting.
English is so stupid.
Yeah, it is.
It's astonishing that we could say that whole phrase and we can
it
all
makes sense.
decipher it. Sorry to any
English
of our
sucks.
foreign
Yeah,
viewers.
we've gotten to the point where like that word now seems weird to me. Like
Yeah, I said cult.
like yeah, I
Cult.
just like it just feels weird.
Mhm.
I just said it too
I agree.
much.
I agree.
So no more saying that word.
So moving
Okay.
on.
Now re-say what you were saying, Jefferson, without using that word.
A group of people.
A group of people.
He started a cult.
Tyson, you could do that. Alondros could do that. He has some experience with that particular group of people and how they choose to practice.
But Xanagos was struck down. So like the only other person to have become a god as not a god is Phaenax. He's like the only one. And yeah, part of it is due to the fact that Heliod was like, that's really funny that he escaped and everybody worships him. Yeah, you can be a god.
That's
Take
crazy.
that, Erebus, because
like
they
it.
are mortal enemies. They're pitted enemies against each other. Oh man. All right. I think we have a lot of questions surrounding this last one. You guys finally made it to the banks of the Tardix River. What are your guys' impressions of making it finally to the edge of the underworld?
So spoopy.
It was nice to finally make it. Didn't really quite think the whole thing through, but it was nice to at least finally make it there. Super happy to see Apollonia there.
Okay, so
Low key.
so before we hit Apollonia, I liked when we were going down, and it was like the rock path, and we were like hiding in the rocks. It made me think very Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
Made
Oh,
me
yeah.
think, throw a cloak over us and hide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or the Ravens
go,
from
Mr.
Dunland.
Don't go, Mr. Frodo.
Yeah. But then, yeah, Apollonia sucks.
Dude, I did not see that coming. That was one thing that was like just a right hook from nowhere, like to my.
Really?
Yeah, because
Yeah, we were like, we're
Once
just
you
walking.
said like you recognize
Took us
someone, I
in
was like,
instantly.
oh yeah.
Yeah, what?
I know who this is.
Dude, are you
Even
serious?
Shay was like celebrating before you even said who it was. like
Dude, that is no way. I feel like Apollonia was such. I was so surprised because Apollonia, like I felt like as a character, like there was so much more that she could have like played into later on. Like I don't know what, but like I
She's
felt like
still
she was
good.
going to be. I felt like she was gonna. I thought that she was gonna be a part of things till the end, or at least a lot further than the like. Once we got out of the underworld, you know, we're talking, you know, treaties and war with Apollonia or something like that, you know. But I was so surprised to see that she's dead.
I mean, she
I
could
think
still very well
Jefferson, like,
play into
just-
it.
If you
Yeah.
remember the end of the first season,
She was
Yeah,
bad.
like-
Yeah, like she was dying. Like you were like, she's got like minutes. There's nothing you can do. Like she's done. Yeah.
yeah, she was on not that soon, but yes, she was on the brink of death.
which
She was past the point of resuscitating, essentially.
leads
Wait, from
me-
what exactly?
She was injured in the battle. I mean, Akros
Oh.
was under siege. There was a surprise attack by the followers. I don't know if you remember this as the one who kind of instigated it, but there was a surprise attack by the followers of Mogus on top of a monster besieging the city,
Right.
on top of
The
Theseus
Minotaurs.
and the Minotaurs attacking, on top of
Yep.
the residual followers of Apto. That's a name we haven't talked about in a while.
Yeah, it's. I was just thinking when we're talking about Apollonia dying, like that puts Akros in a really crazy position because,
Like politically.
yeah, their leader just came back
The other one died.
and she's dead now. And
There's no logical heir.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least
Yeah,
nothing
Akros
we
is
know of.
definitely going to be like very.
Would it fall on Vasilis's father at that
Well,
point?
yeah. Because
He would definitely be a contender, for sure. I would say as like a high
He's
priest,
not the
but
priest.
he's just a priest though. At the same time,
But,
But
he knows like war
Theseus's
stuff.
family is gone,
Mhm.
like completely.
besides his mother.
Yeah, but she's
But
been
she's been
ripped of all
exiled.
title.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
And so there's no heirs that way. I mean, out of the big families, at least as far as we know, Vasilis's family is the only other
High.
noble family
I'd say
that
there's
has like
definitely more
saying
noble.
things.
There's definitely more noble families, but definitely like Vasilis's family and Theseus's family were like at the top. They were the cream of the crop. You know, they were some of the highest people. At least that's how I understand.
Who was the guy that married
Oh, yeah.
Sophia?
General.
Oh, what was
Oh,
his
yeah.
name?
Yes,
That's who it
he
would
could
fall on.
easily take over.
General scumbag.
Yeah.
I don't have my notes, so I don't know.
I think I want to say it started with a G. It was like Gare. I don't remember. Gary.
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 Darius.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Garius.
It's not
Gaius. It's not. I don't remember.
Amadeus.
No.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Which he now has an heir as well.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
So
right.
he
Died
could be
in-
a very logical heir to the throne. Being a war veteran
Yep.
who's renowned, who then just married into nobility, who now no longer has an heir because Vasilis, who probably would have taken over, just went down to the underworld and is dead, essentially, as far as they're concerned.
Caprius.
Capris.
The dad's old.
Capris.
Capris.
He's still like Amadeus.
Yeah.
It's
That's
Amadeus
what his-
Capris.
And the question is, how
Amadeus.
long is it going to take for them to put someone new on the throne? Like, do you think that,
They're gonna have to do it
like,
instantly.
when-
if
do
they're
you
in
think it-
battle.
like, you do think
Yeah.
that, well, yeah, they're in battle right now, but I mean, like, whenever it resides, you know, like, do you think it'll happen before we get back? And they're like, yeah, there's a new king, or, yeah, or there's like, when we get back, there's going to be like political intrigue and strife everywhere.
Well, I think that like so during like a wartime, I mean, you look back at like America's history, and literally George Washington was like a general, and when they were like, "Hey, who should be the leader?" They were like, "Hey, we all know this guy. We fought with him on the war. He's awesome. Let's do him."
Oh yeah.
So why would it be any different
Yeah,
in a
especially-
society that revolves around war?
Especially when they're in the middle of a battle. Like, he's the
Yeah.
logical choice to be like, hey, you're in charge.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
he would step up as a general, and then when they're like, "Hey, who should be the political leader?" It's like him, and anyone who runs against him,
Or
no chance, you know?
Abdo.
No.
No way.
Plus-
I'm not saying. Hold on. Look, I'm not saying he's like of a house of nobility by any means. But as far as politics goes, Abdo is absolutely in the inner workings of everything, and he's trying to get everyone in on his side.
But isn't he
But
the
they
one that
kicked him
caused the
out.
war? Yeah.
Yeah, they kicked him out.
did.
Remember?
They did kick him out.
They did kick him out.
Yeah.
But also,
Sure.
like, we don't even know how long
Who
we're gonna be
wins?
down here either.
Or if
So
time
it could be
even passes.
completely different. Yeah, if
The
time
same
even
way.
passes or what.
There's gonna be a
Yeah,
time.
we know Jefferson.
Mhm.
Those
they-
time
What do you mean?
jumps.
Yeah, we know.
They're actually gonna go back in time.
That would be a crazy
And then when we
twist.
come out, it's like Colossus is restored, and we don't even have to go to the gates.
You come out and it's a week before you guys have the final battle.
Run up and just stab Theseus.
He's like, oh, I didn't do anything.
And then-
I didn't do anything. Yeah, but you were gonna.
You're gonna. That's
And
like
then
right
it's
at the start when
really-
everything starts getting crappy for him too, and you just stab him. He's just,
But-
My life is
But
so hard.
we changed the timeline by going down there, so Theseus at this point in this past version actually isn't evil, and he doesn't have any of the pieces of Mochis. We just run up and kill him.
Or we just,
Yeah, 'cause,
you know,
like, you don't,
don't
go back
help
to your own
him.
timeline. Yeah, you jump to a different one.
But then,
Wait, but I
Technically,
worship
you
my
go, and
Roas.
then you're-
Liar.
wouldn't he, instead of going to like the bad place of the underworld, he would go to like the good place? So would that be
Theseus
as? Yeah, would that be as like?
Well, it's so what
Like
what
fulfilling?
Connor is saying. What Connor is saying is like, if we were to follow theoretical physics in this made up D&D Greece themed world,
Mhm.
right? Is that you guys could not physically go back in time in your own reality, because that's impossible.
Oh.
So you all would travel to. For what you guys is back in time, but what for is another, but just a
Would be
different
a
reality.
branched-
A different
yeah.
branch, yeah. And that branch, he was saying that Theseus is a good man and follows Iroas and doesn't
Well-
go on the path of Moses, and you guys just find Theseus to just stab him to death.
Could you
Well,
imagine
the
like
branch?
as-
The branch would occur when we went back. So the timeline up until that point would be the same, until we did something different to cause the branched reality to break apart.
Under Marvel rules, yes. But
No, not
under-
necessarily.
If
That's
we're
just under.
existing in like
Time
string
travel
theory,
law.
where all realities are existing at the same time.
Well, yeah, but it still would. We would go back in
and it
time
would change
in a
it.
reality that was the same as ours until we created
A
the
difference.
alternate reality.
Not unless you went to a different reality where a different set of you had gone in at a different time.
Exactly. Like Back to the Future. We go back to the future. He jumps back in time, and it's a branch timeline because someone already jumped further back in time to create some
Sure,
branch
yeah.
that he
Right.
was then on.
Tyson,
So-
why didn't, with your spell, why didn't you create a reverse time where we can travel back in
Oh
time
my gosh, yeah,
and
that's
kill
all you had to do.
Theseus?
That's true.
What?
Wasted.
we
Rip.
we still have wishes.
Great.
You
Do we
would
have-
absolutely have to wait until level 9 for that. By
Do
the
we
way,
have
yeah.
wishes?
Level 9 spell.
Yeah, don't
I
we
can
have a-
get wish.
Don't we have a genie lamp
I
that we
don't-
were given at some point?
No, I don't think so.
What?
And-
Dude,
and
I've
if
been
you-
wa-
You have an Afridi bottle, I think,
An
but
Yeah,
they
we
grant
do.
wishes. They just fight
No.
you.
Oh,
Well, it depends.
I was just
If you
wrong.
roll well enough, they do grant you wishes. You just
It's
have
true.
to roll really good.
see?
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Haha.
Yeah.
It's
When
like
did you guys
that's
get
why
an
we
Afridi
haven't-
bottle?
What
We
if
did,
that's
I don't
how we
remember
get
when.
out?
we got it in like the loot.
I've
from
wondered
the-
why no
the
one's
golden
asked us, like
place.
no one's brought this up. Like I've been thinking about this forever. Like we have this thing that
I
the
think it's
Afridi
because when
bottle,
we
yeah.
originally talked about it, we realized we had to fight it, and if we fight it, it gets like destroyed or something.
Yeah, we just
I can't remember
decided
the
that it
exact-
wasn't.
Dude, I say it's worth it for a wish.
But what if that's how we get out of the underworld?
Could be.
We just open up this Afridi bottle.
Also,
Hope for the
Vasilus,
best.
Vasilus does need a wish spell, you know, to get rid of his ailments, but
No, he just needs greater restoration,
or
which I think Connor gets in a level or two.
5
so-
levels.
Wait, didn't we
Oh,
just say
5
that
levels?
doesn't work though?
I'm
Are
only
you
level-
kidding me?
I'm only level
Classic.
5 as a cleric.
I just have to be. I just have to be.
Yeah.
I just have to be.
Oh, I
5
thought
and
that you were
5.
only like 2 or 3
No,
rogue.
he was
No.
5 rogue.
Oh, then
Yeah.
never mind. It's almost easier for me to just take it as one of my
College of War. Or
yeah,
whatever.
the whatever
Yeah.
those are called. I'm blanking. My magical secrets.
Yeah.
So the Afridi bottle, if you roll a 1 to 10 on the D100, you have to fight it for 5 rounds, and then it disappears and the bottle loses its magic. 11 to 90, it'll serve you for an hour, and it will go back to its bottle 3 times. If it's opened a 4th time, it escapes and disappears and loses its magic. And if you roll a 91 to 100, it grants a wish. 3
Dude,
times.
that's not that bad.
See?
11 to 90 gives you other chances. You know what I mean? So you basically have like 3
You can
or
roll it
You have
again.
3 chances
3 chances. Yeah.
So
Yeah, on
what
a
you're
on a
saying
Odds
is
are
10%
not
chance.
on the odd.
on
I think that's
11
what-
to 90.
Why we didn't do
so,
it.
So what you guys are saying that on the 11 to 90, it goes back in its bottle. You come out, you roll again.
After serving
Yeah,
us
but
for how
You can
long?
bring it
24
out
hours.
3 times.
For an hour.
3 hours.
Gotcha.
11 to 90 serves us for 3 hours, goes back in the bottle, and then you get to reroll.
Yeah.
I
So it's-
don't know why I gave you that.
Each time we have a 10% chance of getting a wish,
Yeah, which is not very high.
but we also have a 10% chance of fighting it.
Yep.
Dude, that's pretty
And,
good. I feel like those are
and
pretty good
immediately
odds.
losing it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'll
I feel
see.
that's
We'll
totally
see.
worth it for a wish.
Yeah, why did you guys just wish to run back the clock?
We
We
ain't got
still
no wish
could.
yet.
You still could. That's very true.
Or what
Oh,
if
man.
what if we just wish for the deck of many things and just hope that we pull like the sun card
wish.
I think
where we get like
I think
800
that that's
wishes
the
or
play.
whatever it is.
we get 3 wishes and we get 3 decks.
Oh my gosh.
No, you get one wish.
No, you
Wait,
get
so
you
there's
get
a chance
3
to potentially-
wishes.
Wishes.
You get 3 wishes.
No, it says you grant 1 wish.
Yeah, he grants 1 wish.
The Afridi can cast the wish spell 3 times for you.
Oh.
It disappears when it grants
So
the
it's
final
Aladdin
wish or
status.
after 1 hour.
When it grants a wish.
It says the Afridi can cast the wish spell 3 times for you. It disappears when it grants the final wish or after 1 hour. So you have to use all 3 of them within an hour. But you get 3 wishes.
But how sad would
Dude.
it be if we were just like, hey, I wish none of this happened, and then we lose everything? Like,
Well, that's the risk with wish is you have to be very,
Yeah.
very specific.
you know what I
about how
mean?
you
yeah.
Like,
word it.
none of
It
us
can
ever
be
met.
construed in any way.
Yeah.
That would be such a sad ending to
It
all
would
of this,
be.
though.
And then season 2 would just be a different group of adventurers set out against the world to try and save it.
But it wouldn't be the same because we could stop Theseus. And so
But we wouldn't
wish
the
even know
outcome would be
Theseus.
different.
But we
Right,
wouldn't
that's
even
what
know
I'm
him.
saying. No.
No, we would. We just wouldn't we'd like lose all of our levels or whatever, right?
No, well, no. If none of this ever happened, right? The wish could be done that the story would be rewound before any of you met,
Yeah.
right?
So it's like a second chance.
This
It just
is before-
rewinds time.
It happened, right?
But then, like,
And I-
Theseus would have a good relationship with his dad, and he would have won the games, and he would have married
Or-
Sophia, and there would be no
So, like,
war.
the way I play that as the DM is I would rewind it so that this group of heroes, you guys, the heroes of Theros, would not have met because something else would have changed. Because that way none of this would have happened.
That's what I'm saying.
So like you guys would go live your separate lives. Alondros would decide not to fight in the war and instead,
That'd be depressing.
tries to pays off his debts to Linus, and Calen decides to follow through with his quest in taking Thalassa to her uncle, and Theseus, in his moment of weakness, decides and anger not to follow Mogus, but instead to follow
Heroic.
Iroas. Yeah.
And then wins the games instead.
And then wins the games instead the second time around, right? And then
Delphos just
Delphos-
stays in the arena for the rest of his life. And
Yeah,
never
He just stays a slave.
He's just a
an,
slave.
an infamous gladiator.
Happy
as
ends for
celebrity
everybody.
for his whole life, right? And so then the plot would stay the same. There's someone trying to unravel the magic of the world, but it would be 5 different heroes that do it.
Well, let's not wish for that.
And
Yeah.
instead of
How
you
about-
guys going to
let's
Success
just-
the first time,
Let's just wish that Theseus can feel remorse for his actions.
Oof.
Oh man,
Oof.
that would be a good one.
Honestly, I think you would just fix all the problems if it was like Theseus and his dad have a good relationship. I
Yeah.
think that I
But
honestly
then it would still require like
Would-
time manipulation.
well, yeah, for that I would just do. Oh, like the dead Proteus realizes his mistake, and the living Theseus forgives dead Proteus. Like, great, they have a great relationship now.
The beginning,
I still
the
think that
beginning
the
of the
remorse
next
thing-
episode, we're just like we immediately pull the Afridi bottle out of our bag of holding that we realize that we've had this whole time and rip the cap open.
That's fine. If you
Does
were
it?
to
It
find
doesn't
a
work.
3D
Okay, we
Argonauts
sleep for 24 hours and we try again.
We just keep trying.
until you die. Oh man.
We could probably take
Uh,
an Afridi.
Cut to us
Right?
with the bottle just empty on the ground, just like sitting there. Well, now what?
Well, it's worth a shot.
Before we wrap up, I do want to ask, what are you guys' thoughts on why Alondros considered the deal?
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go for it.
I think for the same reason that Calen made a deal with Phoenix, which was I would rather have it be me instead of everybody getting caught up. I would rather be the one to suffer. Is my thought.
Basically what I was gonna say.
Which is stupid, Alondros, and you should never have done that.
Yeah, but like that's like exactly what it was. But like Alondros feels a lot of guilt for Theseus. Like he was really hard on Theseus, and he feels like, and I'm sure like every character feels the same way. But like Alondros is like, you know, I don't really deserve much better than, you know, living. And so if this is my sacrifice that I can do so that you guys can continue, like I'm willing to make that because I don't feel that I deserve much more than being a lantern in torment for the rest of eternity, because I kind of feel like I caused this whole thing to go down with Theseus.
not
I think
caused.
we all did, because we all
Yeah, well, that's
aided
what.
in
But
it.
I'm just saying, Alondros. That's what he's feeling. You know, I obviously know that every single one of us does it, and that, you know, it was all bits and pieces. But like Alondros, you know, he was really hard on Theseus multiple times. Like if you go back, like a lot of his
Yeah.
interactions, he's like railing on Theseus.
True.
There's quite a few. I was put
You know?
I was put in the hot seat many of times by Alondros.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like
Yeah,
he
but if-
feels like maybe if I was nicer to him, he wouldn't have done this.
Hmm.
You know?
But yeah.
What do you think Alondros would have changed if he could go back?
Interesting enough, I think if he could go back, Alondros probably would have been, and this is contrary to everything I just said, he probably would have been more opposed to you collecting the armor in the first place. I think that he would have spoken out. Even though like he feels bad because he did that now, I still think if he goes back, I think he speaks out more, which could further just make the problem worse. But I think that's honestly probably what he would do, is instead of sitting by and letting it go until, I mean, we were literally on the boat. You had like 2 or 3 of the pieces, and then he finally started coming forward and was hard on Theseus. And I think he would have, you know, been more opposed earlier, and I don't know.
Personally, I don't think that would have changed anything at all, because Adelphos spoke out about it. Literally at the very beginning, as soon as we got to the gauntlets, Adelphos was like, "I'm done with you, bro. Like, I'm not okay with it." And obviously, he like kind of came back a little bit. It was like, okay, I get it.
Well,
but...
he was
but-
opposed, but he didn't like what you were doing, but he was going to support you because he likes you.
Exactly. And so
Yeah.
if it's literally just you either do this by yourself or you don't do it with us, your choice would that would basically be what Alondros would do. Like, I'm not supporting you in doing this. You can go on by yourself and do it, which you'd probably die doing it. You needed us to get through everything. Or you stop now and you come with us. That's kind of what he would do, is just like that hard boundary, and then just be like, you want to do it? Okay, go do it. We're doing this. You know, and then you probably would have died, you know, all by yourself.
Yeah, and especially like if Alondros was able to convince the rest of the group to be strong, you know, because I feel like, yeah, Theseus can stand up to one person, two people pretty easily, but like, what happens when the whole group says, Theseus, this is enough? I guess we know what happens because that's what happened at the party, and you know, gross.
Yeah,
You know?
which I think he could have. I think Alondros could have done that, because I know Adelphos would have probably been on your side pretty quick, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that.
And it probably would have
Thalassa
made
would have
Calen
joined.
and Thalassa start thinking about things. And
I mean, Thalassa didn't even like it the whole time. She was just... she's more about whatever makes people happy, she wants to try to help and support. Doesn't mean she liked it at all. She actually was very like, I don't know if we should really be doing this because that's straight evil, but I guess it makes him happy.
Yep. The path to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah. Right? Path to the
Absolutely.
underworld.
Yep, the path to the underworld is paved with good intentions.
By everybody, not just Theseus.
Yep, it's true.
Oh, I think this is a perfect segue. What are your guys' thoughts of season 2 so far compared to season 1?
It's gonna be way more brutal. I think it's really gonna be like a, like it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a continual journey instead of having like little bits of downtime here and there, where season 1 was a lot more chill. I think season 2 is just gonna get crazier and crazier and more intense, and by the end of it, I think our characters are gonna be exhausted.
yeah,
I think they're gonna be completely wiped out if we live. If.
have
Yeah.
that backup character ready.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we're gonna run into some pretty dark stuff in the underworld. Like, I think our characters are gonna have to face a lot of things that we didn't think we'd have to face. Like, you know, someone going into the underworld and seeing, you know, a parent or a loved one
Yeah.
in a place where they didn't think that they would be. You know, like, oh yeah, mom and dad's gonna go to Elysia. They lived good lives. It's like, nope, they live in torment, in Agonos, because in their past they did this. And it's like, oh,
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I straight up
All
killed
these-
that guy in that bar, so...
True.
Yep.
And I killed my dad, so,
Agonized.
you know... I might find my dad down there, which will not be super
Yeah,
fun.
I think this is a good point. Let's speculate some. Who all do you think you're going to run into during this journey?
Baxter,
Because there's a lot.
Yeah,
Okay,
you'll
so
probably
you think you're going to run into
Baxter.
Baxter?
for sure.
I'll probably
Where
run
do you
into
think
my
you're going to
dad.
run into Baxter at?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was in Agonos.
I think we're gonna find a surprising amount of people in Agonos.
Yeah.
Like that, what's that bull? The Minotaur guy. What was his name?
Gore.
Gore.
Yeah,
The Gore, the
Oh,
Hornless.
yeah, he's gonna be there.
Actually, is he dead? I don't think we killed him.
He fell.
We killed him.
I think Delphos did.
Oh, yeah, if he did, he fell. That's right. I think we're definitely gonna find Proteus.
Where do you
And-
think Proteus will be?
Elysia, he was such a great guy. What a stand-up gentleman. No, definitely, probably Agamemnon.
So you think that he fought without honor?
I think he fought with honor. That's a good question.
I
He-
kind
he-
of think that.
I think he was an honorable warrior, but that doesn't mean that I think that he was an honorable man.
Right, but
I-
Agnes is specifically reserved for dishonorable
Right.
warriors.
Which he is a warrior, and I think that he is dishonorable in a lot of ways. So I didn't think to separate those two. You know,
Yeah.
does that
I
make
think
sense?
I think that Proteus is misunderstood. Like maybe he was raised wrong, and that's why he was the way he was with you.
Yeah, he was
And so
absolutely not
maybe
raised the
there's
greatest.
more leeway than we think. So he's probably
I don't
higher
think
up.
so. I think there's less leeway than we think. I think that the underworld is going to be cruel and harsh, and a lot of people go to places that we aren't going to expect.
Where do you think Sophia went to?
I think she's going to go to the place where uninspired people are.
Really?
Not uninspired. Well, because
No,
later
I
in
mean, that
later
place
later
is-
in
Okay,
What?
continue. Sorry. No, yeah.
I think that later in her life, I think she had a lot of ambition. Sophia had a lot of ambition growing up, and then later in life, all of it was just she was just a person to make heirs with. You know what I mean? She was just making children. You know, all of her desires and dreams never came to fruition. She just married a person that she didn't want to marry because of politics and strengthening her family, and that's it.
She kind of became a return, but in life.
She did. Because I mean, I've thought about this for a really long time. Think about how lively of a person she was. Like whenever,
Yeah.
like in the flashback with DC, she was such a lively, fiery person. And then whenever you meet her, she's just like cold and kind of distant. You know what I mean?
We're just gonna go down the list of all the people you've killed and where they're gonna end up.
Yep. Next,
Random
roll the next
NPC
one.
number 4.
Where do you
Jerry.
think
Jerry.
Where does
Jerry.
Jerry?
Where's
Jerry,
Jerry gonna
Jerry.
be?
Oh, Jerry's going to the paradise.
Absolutely.
good
Except he
student.
wasn't.
100%.
He wasn't a criminal organization, but he was a good guy.
No,
he was a good
But
guy.
he was misunderstood. He didn't want to be in. He was in it to save his family. That's what we don't know about
Yeah.
him.
He wasn't. He was
He would-
in
he-
the criminal organization. He wasn't of the criminal organization.
You know what? Like he literally was probably working for the cops, and he was undercover, and he was a day away from busting them, and we jumped in.
We screwed up
And,
the whole
and,
operation.
and we the whole sting like
Sting
down
up
the drain.
A week away from retirement.
He like put every criminal locked up. Like he's gonna be in paradise, and we're gonna be like, oh my gosh,
What
we know
if?
that we liked you for a reason.
What if? Speaking of that kind of arc, what if Lioness has since passed, and he's just like a psycho down in the underworld?
Yeah.
How would Alondros react to coming across?
I mean, it depends on
Linus,
where
yeah.
he would be. Which he wasn't a great guy.
No.
He wasn't necessarily like the worst guy ever, but he wasn't a good guy.
I
So
mean, he had your dad killed because you owe
Yeah.
him money. He's a pretty bad guy.
But like, he's not like starting wars and
He's not like a
toppling
Theseus,
governments
is
and
what you're
yeah,
saying.
yeah. But so I think that honestly, depending on where he was, Alondros would find a lot of peace. Be like, yeah, you get it, you get what you deserve, and now you got to do it for eternity.
Where do you think Apollonia is gonna end up?
I don't really care.
I think
think
she'll
I-
end up with the heroes.
In like Elysia,
Yeah.
I think I might agree. Which
Even though we
sucks.
don't like her, I think she did
Yeah.
enough things to get that status.
Yeah.
Lame.
Which
And
shoot.
Everyone's so sad that they hear someone went to heaven. They're like,
Oh,
Everyone
man.
that ends up in Elysia are people that we don't like.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Is
think
it Elisa?
that like Alondros' dad,
Yeah,
I
where's he
think
gonna be?
that he's honestly gonna end up in the place that the nobody of importance.
The uninspired.
Yeah. Even though I think to Alondros he was like an amazing man
Mhm.
and he was like his inspiration. I mean, he was a noble. He was living this wonderful life. He always had the best words of inspiration and these things. Like literally Alondros's like good personality comes from his dad. And so I think finding out that all of that in the scheme of the gods doesn't mean anything, I think that would shake him more, and just be like, yeah, I looked up to you so much, but in the grand scheme of things, it means nothing. I think that would be really hard on Alondros.
You know where I think we might find quite a few people. At least I was thinking about where we might find Proteus. I think we're gonna find him in Nerano, which is where people that died with regret go. I think we're gonna find quite a few people. I think we're gonna find quite a few people that died with regret in Nerano. Nerono?
Yeah, Nerano.
Nerono? El Dorado. That's what Nerano sounds like to me.
Ooh, that sounds better. Nerano.
Nerano? Oh yeah, Nerano. That sounds sick.
Nerano.
Nerano.
Which is basically an ocean.
Yeah, I
That's
think
also
also.
where lost sailors go.
I think Sophia also could be there. I'm sure she died with a couple of regrets, but I think we'll probably find her in Phileas.
The uninspired place.
Yep.
Okay, last but not least, where do you think Adelphos is?
I think he's gonna be in like Limbo. I don't think he's gonna be anywhere specific. I think we're gonna find him.
Really?
Yeah,
That's what
like
think, too.
I don't. Well, maybe Nerano. It's gonna be hard to remember. I don't know.
What does Adelphos regret?
I don't know.
Not staying
No.
with
Not learning to
Lydia?
read.
Yeah. Not stopping Theseus, trusting Theseus, not acting sooner. I mean, essentially
he
everything
also-
that
Leaving
the whole party
Lydia.
regrets.
Yeah, leaving Lydia. It was so sad.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh crap! I was gonna say something. I forgot what it was. He also could go to Elysia. I could see him being in Elysia.
Well,
Watch him be where we are.
That'd be
An
wild.
Aghanos.
Underless fighter.
That'd be crazy.
Dude, that's crazy. Why would he show? Why would he be an Aghanos?
Because that was the last place that Jefferson thought we would look, and so that's where he put him.
Yep.
You just happened to choose the right boat. Oh man. Well, is there anything else that you all have been itching to say or want to talk about?
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
All right. As always, thank you for joining us on our little after show extravaganza here. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep updated on our releases.
It means a lot to us.
It really does. And also check out Curse of Strahd Season 1 on YouTube or anywhere podcasts can be found. Tyson DMs that one, and it is very spooky
Mhm.
and
Very-
very fun and sad and a great story. So
And we make
check
a
it
lot of
out.
really good plans there. Lots of
Mhm.
good plans.
Just
there.
Totally different.
Theros,
Just
yeah.
like in Theros,
Yeah.
like we're really
Yeah.
good at making plans.
Yeah.
And of course, if you want a refresher or if you haven't listened to season 1 of Theros, like we told you to at the beginning of the episode,
Shame.
go now and listen to all 55 episodes of season 1 anywhere podcasts can be found. We love you, and we'll catch you next time.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.